What's happening, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of SWACtalk, the show where we cover the SWAC inside and out. I am C. Wells, your SWAC tour guide, and we're going to continue our tour around the SWAC as we head to Itta Mississippi, to the Delta to talk some Delta Devils football. Valley, everybody's team Valley right now, and I love Valley. I'm not going to keep harping on, what I'm saying, the fact my dad went to Valley because y'all don't care about that. But I love Valley. Valley is a team that I've always watched, and there's no real rivalry with Southern, so I always watch Valley and hope they do well. But they've been hard to win. They've struggled to find success, even with greats like Willie Totten and Jerry Rice and Joe Thomas and Carl Bynum, Corey Holmes. Later on, Aries Nelson. Um, Ashley Ambrose. Those are just some names, to throw out for Valley. But they've never won a SWAC championship, and they're a program that just it's hard. It's really hard. I mean, they don't spend a lot of money on football. It's not by choice, right? They're just kind of at a disadvantage to most people. And Coach Dancy has done a great job of getting this team to buy into what he wants to do and compete and bring that hard hitting lunch pail attitude to the field. So we're going to talk about Valley. You see the socials down on the screen below. If you want to show a little love to the show, you can hit the Cash App, $SWACtalk. That's always an option. Check out the podcast. SWACtalk is on anchor.fm/SWACtalk. Also, Spotify, Stitcher, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We've got a Valley preview up today, so you can check that out. We'll talk about Prairie View on Wednesday. On Thursday is another edition of SWAC Smoke. It's going very well with my homie DJ. We just sit back and chop it up and have a good time. So we'll talk about that. And then on Sunday, we'll talk about the Southern Jags. So we got a couple more stops to go around the SWAC before we end this thing and get ready for the MEAC SWAC Challenge. If you haven't done so already, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel? I think we're over 270 subscribers. The march to 300 continues. So I'd like to thank everybody sincerely from the bottom of my heart, man. I really appreciate the love that you guys have shown. So I really want to thank y'all for that. Hit the notification bell so you can be alerted to any content that I upload. And like the videos and feel free to comment and, just enjoy. And I'm going to continue to try to bring you SWAC content from my point of view and just continue to do what I do. So let's talk Valley. Valley was 1-3 in spring. They picked up a victory due to a forfeit because Alcorn not playing. Jelani Eason was the leading passer and rusher. So that that's a factor. That's something that Valley's had for the last couple of years. The Jarek Bryant was a big time dual threat guy at quarterback the last couple of years. Caleb Johnson is a very nice running back. I think he has the potential to be one of the better running backs in the conference, but it all starts up front. Valley's offensive line is still not very good. They allowed 13 sacks in the spring, which averages out to about 4 sacks a game because they only played 3 on-field games. So they give up a lot of sacks. They only got 6 sacks as a defense. They had 3 interceptions as a defense. So, they just aren't really able to make plays like they want to. Defensively, I love Jerry Garner. Everybody loves Jerry Garner. I mean, he's a beast on the defensive line. He can play against the run. He can rush the passer. He's tough to stop. And Valley's defense as a whole was very strong against the run in the spring. They allowed about 130 yards per game. They ran for about 153. Through the air is where the problem came in at defensively. They got hit through the air fairly well. They weren't able to move the ball through the air themselves. So that's something that I really think they're going to have to work on. But like I said, it all starts up front. I think Valley has potential. I really think they have potential. And I want to see them do well. I know a lot of people want to see Valley do well. But right now, I just don't think they have the they don't have the depth, and that's a phrase that you're gonna hear me say, time and time again in this preview, because I just don't feel that Valley can compete game in and game out, because they're just gonna wear down defensively. They're gonna wear down. They're gonna need a guy to step up and take the reins. A lot of people feel like T.J. Goodwin's a guy at quarterback. He transferred from UTEP. He's a big guy, so he could be a guy that can help their team grow. But the offense is gonna have to come around in some way, shape, or form to get their defense some time off the field. Valley only converted 27% of their third downs during the spring, so that's something that's gonna have to improve. They had a -4 turnover ratio. That's gonna have to improve. But I like this team a lot. I like the mentality that they have. They're gonna fight. They're gonna try to hit you in the mouth, but I don't think they can stand up to you for 4 quarters, and that's what's gonna hurt them the most. So we're gonna run through this Valley schedule, and share my thoughts. It's not pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it 100. It's not pretty. I heard people say Valley gonna win 5 games. Well, I ain't even hating. Well, if you could tell me 5 teams on this schedule that Valley gonna beat, I don't see it. Now that don't mean they can't pull some upsets, because upsets are part of the game and they happen quite often. But I don't see 5 W's nowhere. So 1 or 2 is probably gonna be where I stand, and I'm gonna go through that at the end. But they open up on a Thursday, September 2nd at Murray State. That's not an easy game. Murray State, out of the OVC, is a really good program. They had a team in the spring, so that's a tough matchup to open up the season. Valley schedule's hard. If you want to say any team in the conference schedule's hard, Valley does. Valley plays any and everybody to get a little bit of a check. But I don't see them winning that game. Stephen F. Austin, another program, they were 6-4 the last time they took the field. That's going to be a tough matchup for Valley. Now, I think Valley can compete in these games. If their offense can come around, I think they can compete, but I just don't think they're going to be able to withstand teams for 4 quarters consistently. So that's just my big takeaway from Valley. September 26th, Sunday, they play Southern in Jackson, Mississippi. Now, this is a game I really wish they didn't move this game out of Itta, because that's a big home game for Valley. I don't think playing it at home means that they would have won, but they've played Southern fairly close in Itta a few times. 2013, it was a 17-7 game. I think 2011, it was like 21-14 or 17-14. There's been a few other games that the Valley played Southern very, very tough up there. And I just don't think when you're a team that a program, you want to get those kind of games at home. Now, you can probably get a bigger gate in Jackson. That's if everybody shows up. But sometimes I think that you need that home game more than you need that gate. Getting all your people and a decent sized crowd from the visiting team at home, to me, goes a long way. And if you can beat that kind of team at home, that definitely makes it better for you. I get why they did it. I'm not a fan of it, but I get why they did it. And that's going to be a tough game. I think Valley's going to play really tough against Southern, especially early. Valley is a team that doesn't really allow teams to run the ball, but Southern loves to run the ball. So that's something's going to have to give. I think Southern being able to throw the ball with any kind of success is going to help them in this game, because that's going to open things up for them to run the football. And if Southern gets the lead, they're going to wear Valley down. So I think this is a game that can be close for 3 quarters, maybe even going into the 4th. But I think Southern will pull away. Valley opens up their home schedule on homecoming against North Carolina Central on October 2nd. This is a game, if I had to pick any game that I think Valley has probably the best chance of winning, I would pick this game. North Carolina Central went 4-8 in 2019. They did not play in the spring. So I don't think they're going to be a very good team. I think this is a game Valley can win. I think they're gonna be hyped up to be playing at home, and it's homecoming, and they really want to make a statement. So I think Valley will win this game. I really want everybody to be successful in the non-conference, although it's tough to pick them to beat teams that I don't really think they can beat. But I think North Carolina Central's a game that Valley can win, and I think they will win. Moving on to the next game on the schedule, which is Bethune-Cookman on October 9th. I think if this game was in Itabena, I would probably go with Valley. Valley played Bethune-Cookman really tough in 2019, but they could not close the deal. They had a lot of games they played early in the season that year that were really close, and they just could not seal the deal. I think that if there was a team in the SWAC, I think they match up with. I would say Bethune-Cookman. Now that's obviously not me not seeing Bethune-Cookman play very much, so I could be totally wrong. But I think Bethune-Cookman will win this game. I think Valley's going to come out and fight, but until Valley shows me that they can win on the road, I can't pick them to win on the road. I just see two different Valleys. At home, they're very tough. They may not be in the game all game long, but they're gonna fight and claw and scratch at home. And on the road, they're just not as tough. And until I see them go on the road and play tough consistently, I can't pick them. I'm in show me mode with everybody this year, so it's nothing against Valley. I'm in show me mode for every team, so they have to show me this year. October 16th, Valley comes home and they host Alcorn. Again, I think they're going to play Alcorn tough early. In 2018, they played Alcorn fairly tough for about a quarter and a half or so, and then Alcorn, blew them out the water, 56-20. So I think Valley can at least get this game a go for a while, but I think Alcorn's going to be too much. October 23rd, they host Florida A&M. Again, a tough matchup. I don't think Valley's going to win. I think FAMU is going to be playing really good football at this point, so it's going to be tough for Valley to beat them. October 30th, they host Jackson State. Now, for a few years, Valley played Jackson State really close, especially in Itabena, but this is not those Jackson State teams. This team could potentially be a very good team and be playing very good ball at this point in the season. So this is a tough task for Valley. I don't think they'll win that game. They go to Huntsville on November 6th to take on the Bulldogs. Again, very tough matchup. A&M's offense is explosive. They're going to give Valley's defense all they can handle. Offensively, I just don't think Valley has the pieces to compete in this game. So I think A&M will win. November 13th, they come home and close out their home slate against Alabama State. I'm gonna pick Valley in an upset because I think that at some point in the season they will win a game. I think they competed well against Alabama State for about 2.5 quarters in the spring. Alabama State was able to get a big fourth down stop, and then they scored a couple of touchdowns in the fourth quarter to win that game going away. I think Valley can win this game if and only if their offense is better. If their offense is still not able to move the ball consistently or they can't keep their quarterback upright, they're not going to win this game either because Alabama State's defense is very good. They're relentless. They're very hard-hitting, and they're going to challenge Valley. But I think Valley's defense is able to challenge Alabama. So I'm going to put Valley in that game just because I want to pick upset. November 27th, after a bye week, they go to Prairie View. Again, this is a game I will give Valley a semblance of a shot because, A, we don't know what kind of team Prairie View is going to be. We don't know how their offense is going to be. Defensively, they're going to be good, but not great. Late in the season, Prairie View may be out of the race, so they may not have a lot of motivation to play in this game, and Valley may be able to steal like that. But I'm picking Prairie View to win this game, giving Valley a predicted 2-9 record. Now, the worst case scenario is I could easily say they could go winless, but I don't think Valley's gonna go winless at all. So I'm thinking worst case scenario is like 1-10. Now, best case scenario is 3-8. I really have to stretch for that, and to get to 4 wins or more, you're really gonna have to stretch because this schedule does Valley no favors at all. They open up tough with three really tough games away from home. The homecoming game at home is no gimme. Bethune-Cookman is not an easy game, but then they have this stretch from October 16th to November 6th where they play 4 of the top teams, projected top teams in the conference, all in a row. Now, 3 of those 4 are at home, but you know that can only take you so far. That stretch is brutal. If they were to find a way to win 1 game in that stretch, which I don't see happening, but if they could, then that would go a long way in making their season. But there are no easy games on this schedule. There are no really easy stretches. I mean, from week one to week 13, 14, whatever the number is, from game 1 to game 11, let's put it that way. There's no easy games. I really wish they would have given themselves a game to really build up some confidence, because there's not that. If they win games this year, they will have earned those W's, and they will be a better team. I think this is a team who will not be what their record is. I know they're saying you are what your record says you are, but I think this team is going to be better than what their record is, and I think they're going to be a tough team to beat. I think they're going to be in a lot of games, but I just don't think they're going to be at close-out games. And that 4-game stretch in the middle of the season, I think, is what's going to be the ultimate downfall, because there's just no easy games. There's no bye weeks in between those games. There's no anything to kind of break that up. So not easy at all. And, Valley's schedule is hardly ever easy. But some of that is because Valley is not a good team most years. So, anytime you're not a good team, most games are going to be hard for you. But this schedule, I don't really like the order of it. I mean, you can only do so much about your conference games. But Valley always plays tough non-conference games, although they may get themselves a home game that's winnable. But this year, that's not really the case with an easy home game at all. So I wish Valley the best of luck, man. I really hope that they pull off an upset or 2 during the season, because I think individually they have some really good pieces, but as a total unit, I just don't think they have the depth to compete week in and week out. So that's gonna do it for me. I'm gonna hop on out of here, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your weekend. Like I said, we'll be back on Wednesday with another edition of SWACtalk, and we'll continue our tour around the SWAC. We're gonna drive over to Prairie View, Texas, up on the hill to talk about the Panthers of Prairie View, and that's it. Man, y'all enjoy yourself. I'm C. Wells. I'm signing out. We'll holler at you later.